Welcome everyone to another episode of Off Topic Thursday,
where we're going to be playing more of Destiny, jumping into the Crucible.
We also figured out something weird about Unispace Rhino.
And that he doesn't have cheeks, so you can see right through his face.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
That's really weird. So, I always assumed that there was something there.
Uh-huh.
Because, when you look straight at him, it looks like something should be there.
Right.
And then you move to the side, and there's nothing there.
Nope, it's just sort of empty.
It kind of makes me think it's more like a skull.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and that's just super weird now.
Yep, it definitely is that.
Once seen, it cannot be unseen.
Mm-hmm.
More Destiny.
Yep. Today we're playing Crucible.
Heck yeah, we are. I'm excited for Crucible.
Yeah?
So, for one, it really bugs me that there's a level 34 that I have,
Uh-huh.
a 29,
Yep.
and a little 17 that I'm like, I could power level him super quickly.
Right.
It'd take 2 hours,
Uh-huh.
and I guarantee you he could be 30 at least.
For sure.
And it's just like, nope, can't do anything because, well, he's for the show.
Yep. But
Yeah.
hey, it's really not going to be that much longer till we're level 20.
I know, and then we have so much gear, and we have, a little surprise. It's not so much a surprise, but I'm gonna roll with it.
we're gonna act like it's a surprise.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Because he has a little gift waiting for him.
Yeah, and it's gonna be exciting.
Yeah. So, Monkey.
Yep.
One of the cool things they added with House of Wolves?
Oh, what did they add with House of Wolves?
All the Dark Below maps that we hunted for that one time
Uh-huh.
have been released for free to everybody and are now in every playlist.
That's super awesome.
Yeah, I really like it when companies do that because it, when you release expansion packs with multiplayer maps, it kind of fractures the community.
Absolutely.
And Call of Duty always does this.
Right.
And I feel they kind of guilt trip people into buying their maps because it's like, well, your friends bought it, now you have to buy it.
I have probably owned in the neighborhood of 6 to 8 Call of Duty games, but I have never once bought a map pack. So every time I get a Call of Duty game, I'm like, yeah, this is great, I'm loving it. And then as soon as that first DLC comes out, I'm like,
oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, exactly. I know I've bought a lot of DLC.
Uh-huh.
Just because, friends are playing and it's like, hey, let's go play multiplayer. Let's go play Search and Destroy. Oh, Wise Wolf doesn't have the maps. Well, it looks like we have to go play another playlist because of him.
Right.
And it's just like, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
I feel the love.
Yeah, and I get that.
Yeah.
Although, I think I've only ever actually bought DLC for 5 or less games in my entire life.
Wow.
I just don't really buy DLC.
How come you don't really just buy DLC?
It's... Part of it is that I would just prefer to have everything up front. And so, when I buy a game, I want, the experience, of the game.
Yeah.
And then normally I find that the DLC isn't really going to change the experience so much as it's just going to add more content.
Yeah. And go ahead.
I was just going to say, for me, a big part of video games and things in general is I really enjoy learning things. So my favorite games and the type of games I tend to enjoy playing are not games that I necessarily pick up and straight away experience, but games that I spend a lot of time learning and researching, because that's how I tend to enjoy games the most.
Yeah.
Is when I really spend a lot of time out of the game interacting with the material.
Okay.
And so typically I like that new experience learning how to play it and optimize. And the way how DLC works is hey, you're getting more of roughly the same.
Exactly. And for me, like, sometimes that works really well, and I feel really good DLC shouldn't really change the experience that much.
Right. Because if yeah,
However, I also feel like it should add something new without changing the core of the game.
sure.
It also shouldn't be forced to be a part of the experience.
Oh no, I definitely get that.
Like, one thing that kind of caused controversy with Mass Effect,
Right.
because that never happens, is it released a character to the DLC that you could only get if you pre-ordered the special edition.
Oh, right.
And it was, spoilers for Mass Effect. I don't remember which Mass Effect, I only remember the character and the shenanigans about it.
Okay.
So, be forewarned.
Right.
It was not the Prometheans, but whatever
The Protheans.
the Protheans. It was
Right.
a Prothean race character.
Yeah.
And he had a ton of things about lore, about culture. He influenced the story a lot. He had his own unique feelings.
Uh-huh.
I'm not saying anything about it. Nuh-uh, you're not baiting me this time.
Proceed.
Titans are awesome. And a lot of people were really mad because he changed the experience of the game with the information he provided.
Oh, absolutely.
For those of us who were like hardcore into the Mass Effect lore.
Right.
And he just completely changed things, and it was stuck behind a wall.
Mm.
And a lot of people were upset about that.
I definitely understand that. So, in the numerous things that they eventually did with the Mass Effect franchise that sort of turned me off to it,
Yeah.
that was one of the things, and it's part of the reason, knowing that that's sort of how they handled Mass Effect 3,
Yeah.
is part of the reason why, as much as I absolutely love Mass Effect 1 is of my all-time favorite games,
Yeah.
knowing that that's how they end up treating Mass Effect 3, and, you know, to an extent, Mass Effect 2 as well, I just have a really hard time bringing myself to play those games at all.
No. Oh, Resurrect, okay. I was really confused what happened there for a moment.
Oh, yeah.
No, I get that, and it's kind of the really downfall and a really interesting way of doing DLC is It's like, hey, we're gonna put this really big experience behind a paywall, or you could do the opposite, or you could go even worse with. Now that should have killed him because that was a crit.
Right. you would think that, but...
You would think, but it's just like, no. Like with what Batman Arkham Knight did, where it's like, hey, here's $40 for a season pass, which
Right.
is a ridiculous amount of money for
to ask somebody to just shell out.
And what was worse is they didn't tell anyone what was in that DLC at first. They just said, hey, $40 and we'll give you a month worth of content every 6 months after the game's released.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't say what. And it's like, I don't like that.
Yeah, no, for sure. I definitely get that.
Yeah. And then I feel like The Witcher is handling it really well.
Uh-huh.
Same person.
Yep. No, the same thing. We both... That's exactly how that went down both times.
You both respawned right next to each other.
Yeah.
This is not Call of Duty. I know we talked about it, but come on. On how The Witcher's doing it is... Well, back with Arkham Knight, as they have later said, it's like, hey, it's going to have some races and tracks, and it's going to have skins and a bunch of other things.
Uh-huh.
But then it's the WB, so they're also doing a bunch of like console and retailer-specific DLC. Which I absolutely hate.
Right. I am okay with the idea of that being like, hey, if you get the special edition or you pre-order from this retailer, you get this, but this still being something you can get in the game regardless.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you just get this, but you'll get an extra boost for free.
Yeah, and that I'm okay with. But this is just like, alright, from this retailer you can have this skin and this thing, and that's
right.
it.
Yeah.
If you're on PlayStation, you get this extra mission, and if you're on Xbox, well, you just straight up don't get it. I understand business-wise, it's something that has to happen. I just really don't like it.
No, I agree.
Which is why I really like what The Witcher's doing.
Okay.
Is there is no retailer or console-specific DLC. It's just, hey, we're gonna release 2 pieces of DLC every week for the first 8 weeks the game's out. Everybody gets it. And they're just really small things. It's like new haircuts, an alternate look for a character.
Right.
Just little things like that. Some new armor that's pretty expensive when you're first starting out.
Uh-huh.
And, it just happens to be stuff like that. But then they also said, hey, we're also going to release a true expansion where the first one's 10 hours of additional gameplay that's not super critical.
Uh-huh.
And 30 hours, and then another 20 hours on top of that with the next one. On a game that's 250 hours already.
Right, but the guys who make The Witcher just do so many things right anyways.
Yeah.
Like
everybody loves them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, and they've only done 3 games.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh, although they did recently announce something with their next game.
Uh-huh.
Which is Cyberpunk 2077.
Yep.
They said they're not going to talk about it, and you won't hear about it till 2017.
I would believe that. I would legitimately believe that coming from this company.
Exactly, and they even said it's like, yeah, we really haven't started working on it.
Right, just, hey, we're going to do this.
We're going to do this. You'll hear about it in, 2 years.
Yeah.
However, back before the last Unity was out, there was already a survey of what the next Assassin's Creed would be.
Right.
And I'm just so tired of annualized franchises now.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely.
I want that's why I loved Halo.
Yeah.
It's Halo 1. 3 years later, Halo 2.
Uh-huh.
3 years later, we got another one.
Right.
3 years I feel is the perfect amount of development time.
Sure.
Perfect amount of time of break for a franchise.
Yeah.
I just want people to just let it sink in and really enjoy what you're playing.
Oh, absolutely.
And I just don't like the whole. I'm starting not to like the annualized franchise thing.
Right. I understand it in concept, the idea of how they're doing Call of Duty, where every year you have a Call of Duty game coming out, but each year it's by a different company, or a different development team, so you still get that 3-year cycle going on, but you're getting one every year.
Yeah.
But the problem attached to that is that since they all have that Call of Duty name on them,
mm-hmm.
and since they're not so differentiated between each other, the whole experience starts to feel overused.
Exactly, and even with the next Assassin's Creed Syndicate, they've spent 4 years on it, but we've just had so many Assassin's Creeds. We've had, I think, 4 Assassin's Creed games in the past 2 years.
Past year?
In the past year.
Wow, what? How?
Alright, or maybe it was 2 years.
Okay.
But in 1 year we had 4.
Right.
It was Assassin's Creed Unity.
Okay.
Or no, it was Was it Unity?
Which one?
It was Unity and Rogue.
Okay.
Or was it Rogue and Black Flag?
I think it was Black Flag and... Ooh. I don't know. I actually haven't played that era of Assassin's Creed games, so I don't actually know.
Okay. So, I'm turning down that sensitivity.
Yes.
But we had that. With Unity, a little bit later on, we ended up with a side-scrolling Assassin's Creed game.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
It took place in China.
I like that. I like that they're breaking the mold, so it's not the same exact experience.
Yeah.
But it still starts to feel like it's another Assassin's Creed game, even if it's widely different.
Well, see, the worst thing about that is they announced 3 of those.
Oh, no.
China, Russia, and I think India.
Oh. I like that idea of them stepping outside of that one genre that they've been doing. But man, oh man,
Yeah.
that
They already announced it's like, yeah, we're gonna do 3 of those. It's like, oh. Okay, not going in there. I don't see how I'm physically alive after that.
you know it happens.
Alright, that is not a 2-round vest. Ooh, Vestian Dynasty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of a cool name.
Yes!
I don't know who the Vestians are, but
I have no clue, but I know that's the new sidearm class.
okay.
And it's a lot of fun.
It's
Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's a fallen weapon, right?
It is. No, it's not the fallen one.
No, not the
Dreg's
fallen
Promise is the fallen one.
one. Okay.
This does have a fun hidden perk that a lot of people kind of don't really know about.
This gun?
No, not this one.
Oh,
Vestian Dynasty.
Okay.
And that's that. So those silly, stupid hobgoblins.
Uh huh.
When you shoot them, they fine. When you shoot them, they go into stasis.
Right.
And you can't damage them whatsoever.
Yep.
The Vestian Dynasty will bypass that.
Oh, that's cool.
Seriously, every time I go somewhere, there's a new explosion.
Yep. Just don't go anywhere. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
That's how that works, right?
I'm just gonna
Yep.
borrow
Don't
that.
mind that.
Don't mind me.
Uh-huh.
I probably should have waited for the team.
Probably. Well, you almost got him.
Oh, that was my fault.
Yeah.
I died anyway, so it's fine.
Right. Right.
Playing as Hunter is still really weird for me.
Yeah, I feel like I'm starting to get the hang of it. Particularly, the more knife throwing I'm doing, the more comfortable I'm feeling with it.
Yeah, I kind of need to get used to throwing the knife.
Right.
Kind of like trying it there.
Uh-huh.
But it didn't really, quite work out for me. Nope.
Yeah, I think the Titan abilities are the ones I have the hardest time understanding.
Really? Oh, God.
Like, I get their super, but I don't understand their grenades. And I don't actually know if their melee does anything.
The melee does. It does more. It does a little more damage.
Okay.
Just because at full charge.
Right.
Oh God, I don't even know what's ours and what's not.
Yeah, just don't be there.
Exactly. So the melee, what it does is you punch someone,
Uh-huh.
and it. Oh God! With this, so many explosions. Oh God.
Nice, you got him.
Did I?
Well,
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just slow.
Yep.
Yeah. So you have the melee punch, which
Uh-huh.
is just more damage for your melee attack.
Right.
Then you have it where you can switch it up,
Okay.
where for the Striker Titan, what it'll do is it'll recharge your super
Mm-hmm.
faster, which, that's always a good thing.
Right, no, definitely.
And then you have one where you'll punch and it has overcharge,
Okay.
where it'll use your melee ability,
Uh-huh.
and then it'll, instantly recharge. Which, some people think is stupid.
Right.
I think it's awesome.
Okay.
Alright, guys, seriously.
There's a lot of bad going on right now. Hey, you got one.
Nice.
Oh, a double down on that.
Ooh.
Ooh, that's pretty sick.
I like it. I will admit, I do enjoy Golden Gun.
Right. Golden Gun is growing on me.
Yeah.
Like, it starting off was definitely not my favorite super, but I can see why hunters are so good at the PvP sort of stuff.
Exactly, because they're like the only one where you could potentially reliably always get 3 people.
Right.
Whereas with Nova Bomb, you could if a team is grouped up,
Uh-huh.
but a team is so rarely grouped up that
Yeah.
it's essentially not going to happen.
Uh-huh.
So,
Nice. That was boss.
that
You're gonna
works.
get shot here.
Yes, I am. Yep.
Yeah.
But hey, I jumped from like second to last to third.
Which is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's exciting.
Yeah, it is. I don't know. I just really enjoy Destiny a lot.
No, I get that. That's cool.
But so far, I have to say I didn't enjoy that.
Uh-huh.
But like playing as a warlock in my free time
Okay.
is just it's a lot of fun.
Right. No, I get that. I know that feel.
I know. Because that's what you play as mostly.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like the hunter special super is the only one that can reliably be like, all right, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Yep. It definitely does that.
Exactly. And
Ooh, we got a green.
ooh,
That's cool. That's
I like
exciting.
it. Could be something good.
Yeah. Or it could be mediocre.
Yeah, that's probably more likely.
Yeah.
The Cryptarch is still a jerk.
Yep.
How's it feel? They're 32, 30, and 27.
Yeah, you got
17 is high.
yeah, you got showed up by a level 17.
How's that feel?
Mm-hmm.
Mmm.
Well, this guy's probably feeling pretty good.
That's true. He does have a new.
He got a legendary.
Yeah, and it has stability and crowd control, which is really good for PvE.
Oh yeah.
Well, crowd control, the more kills you get, the more damage you do.
Oh, nice.
So it could work in PvP. It's better suited for
Thralls.
mobs event. Exactly.
Thralls specifically.
Exactly. So, it's a good one. That'd be really good for Crota.
Yeah. Lots of thralls.
Oh god, yes. I hate Thralls.
Mm-hmm.
Still hate Hive.
Yeah. I think you've expressed that before.
Oh, I will. If it was possible, if this wasn't crazy and insane, I'd almost put that on a gravestone.
Oh yeah?
Hate Hive. Great hater of Hive.
Uh-huh.
But no, that would just be silly.
Alright. So, did you ever read The Get Backers? It was an anime and manga.
I would say, you just said read it, but you said anime.
No, did you watch or read The Get Backers?
No, I've never heard of that actually.
Alright.
What's that one?
So, The Get Backers, it's basically, there's these two guys, and they're running a company, and it's sort of like a retrieval service. You lose something, they find it for you and get it back to you.
Okay.
Yeah. So
is that all?
that's the premise.
Okay, so like if somebody lost their keys,
right?
Or if somebody lost, I don't know, their will. Did it go that extract, or was it specifically just things?
I could see it going that abstract. That's definitely not out of the realm. Like, if you pay them, they would do it.
Okay.
Because definitely one of the earlier chapters, for example, a guy, like, he's old and he's dying, and he just wants to see his daughter one more time.
Oh, that's sad.
Right. Minor spoiler.
Yeah.
When they eventually find her, she doesn't care and doesn't want to see him. So
I can see why you enjoy this now.
Right. But the thing is, the two of them have... Well, overall, it's a very, like, realistic, like, people don't have superpowers except under extreme circumstances.
Okay.
Like, very few people have any sort of thing, and it's mostly limited.
Okay.
So, like, of the two, one of them, basically, his body emits electromagnetic energy, basically.
Alright.
They describe him as sort of like an electric eel, basically. he can shock things, or people. The other guy, his powers are a little different than that.
How different?
He has two powers that are kind of weird. Well, one's a power and the other's... Alright, so... the Marleys were dead to begin with, right? So, he's super strong. At least one hand? One arm? I think his other arm isn't necessarily weak, it's just not as strong.
Okay.
But he's got, like, this really strong grip, at least. He's got this one really strong arm.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, because people are naturally, the dominant hand is stronger than the other.
Yeah, exactly.
This is probably just carried to the anime part.
Right. Except even at that, it's still, like, it's definitely not as crazy as some anime.
Yeah. Which are just absolutely ridiculous.
Right, but this means he's strong enough to, like, what's the craziest thing he does with his strength? Punches a hole in a wall, maybe?
Oh, that's like pretty human.
Right. I mean, big enough for him and like a friend to just walk through.
Oh. See, now that...
Right.
You did not mention that
Right.
particular part.
Like, a hole big enough for someone to walk through.
Okay.
So it's not too ridiculous.
No, it's not as ridiculous as, Dragon Ball Z or anything.
Right, nothing like that.
But it's more...
His
believable-ish.
His other power is he can cause someone to see an illusion of his choice
Uh-huh.
for, I think, 1 minute, or like 1 to 4 minutes.
Okay.
That's how long he can have an illusion last.
Wow. I would have so much fun with that.
But he has to look you in the eyes.
Oh.
So
Could be a little awkward, but also funny.
right. So once he looks you in the eye, he can make that happen.
Okay.
And so like when they figure out like, hey, we can't actually bring his daughter to come and see his like dying breath.
Just cause an illusion to make it happen.
Yeah, so in his dying breath, he sees the old guy sees his daughter there. And in the illusion, the daughter is like, glad to see him.
Actually cares.
Right.
All right. See, now I'm more curious of why the daughter didn't care.
Right. I think it's because like he had not really been there for her when it deals a lot with flawed characters.
Oh, I like that.
So everything's fairly realistic for anime.
Yeah.
All the characters like they have strengths, they have weaknesses. The bad guys, you're like, I can see why they would do this. The good guys, you're like, yeah, they've got issues too.
Yeah, like not everyone's perfect. People are flawed.
Right.
That's an art played. Okay.
I really got an assist.
There you go.
Right, so you've got that going on. But then they've done other things, like instead of like one of their longest running missions, if I remember right, was this one girl lost her phone, and she had this one charm on her phone, right, that was really meaningful to her. Like one of her best friends gave it to her.
Yeah.
And that friend is gone now. So she's like, I just really want like this, to have this back. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't even care about the phone at this point, just the charm.
Just the charm would be nice.
So they end up going like all over looking for this, and they eventually like, do you think it would be at the, do you think anyone would have just turned it into the police station? Do you think it could just be in the lost and found, and no one thought to look?
Alright.
So then they go to they find it at the police station. But the problem is, it's been impounded as evidence in a criminal investigation because she had like unknowingly taken a photo of either like a robbery or a murder or something.
Okay.
So right, so the police are like, we can't release this phone. So then they're like, all right, in order to get the phone back, we have to solve this thing, which means we need to get our hands on the criminal boss so we can turn them in.
So you turn the... Oh, I love it.
Right, so they end up going to some ridiculous...
Ooh, check that out.
That looks pretty sick.
Yeah, it does.
So they go to some pretty ridiculous lengths to finally get that resolved.
That sounds so cool. What's that called again?
The Get Backers?
The Get Backers.
Yeah,
is
they
it
get
on
back.
Netflix?
I don't think it is.
Oh, is it an older one?
Is it what?
Is it an older anime or a newer one?
It's older now. It has pretty decent animation still.
Okay.
But it's older.
Okay. It's probably on like Crunchyroll or...
Yeah,
something around
It'd
there.
probably be on that.
Okay.
But, so the whole reason why I mentioned all that is because you mentioned Hive, right?
Yeah, yes.
So there's the electric eel guy. He's normally the comedy man to the guy with the eye. He's like the straight man.
Okay.
And so, well, they both still have like their comedic moments or whatever.
Yeah.
The electric eel guy he's the more goofy one who's just sort of like, yeah, let's, like, I think this would be fun. But there's an arc where you find out about his past and his backstory.
Oh.
And you find out in this city where they're at, there's this one part that was sort of abandoned for a long time by, I guess, society. It just became this massive conglomeration of, like, leftover building parts, basically. So, the Electric Eel guy, in his backstory, as you find out, he had gathered together all these orphans and, like, outcasts, and, like, they had amassed for themselves this giant, like, hive spire, right, out of, like, all this junk, and built themselves a tower that, like, was as big as any of the skyscrapers in this city, if not bigger.
Wow.
But the whole thing was, it itself didn't have, like, power, so by default, he became the king, because he could supply power wherever it was needed.
Oh.
And so, you know, they eventually come back to this hive tower thing, and, you know, his old crew is, like, they've been splintered and fractured, and some of them are still trying to carry on with what they thought were his ideals. And it was just this interesting thing, like, oh, that's... You know, I was not expecting this to be the direction this show went.
No. Especially when it's like, you know, we're just going to help people find things.
Right. That's the setup for the show. And there's a point where they leave that behind, and they're like, oh, okay.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
I kind of like shows where they, like, set a premise and then just, like, completely go down a different way.
Right.
Or just explore aspects you never thought they were going.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, it's not quite like that, but Gungrave.
Okay.
Where, you know, it sets up as more like supernatural, post-apocalyptic. There's, like, zombie vampires killing people left and right.
Right.
That's only the first episode.
Okay.
The next episode flashes back, like, 20 years.
Uh-huh.
And it's just a complete lead-up to that entire thing. So you only get, like, the current timeline.
Right.
Like, why you gotta interrupt the show? I can't pronounce that. Otherwise, we'd call you out on it.
I think it was Hirmas.
Hirmasa.
He something.
Yeah. So whoever is out there, if you're listening, spam that man.
If you have a PSN account, give that guy a message.
Yeah. If you have PSN, spam him.
Just be like, hey, I saw you on this channel.
We saw you on this awesome channel.
Yeah, but no, that sounds interesting for Gungrave.
So, yeah, you start out. You only start... Who's sworn? I just heard laughing.
Mm-hmm.
You start, like, in the present.
Uh-huh.
And then you go all the way to, 20 years ago.
Right.
For the first episode. And then for, like, 20 episodes, you're in the past.
Uh-huh.
And then on the very last episode, it finishes up that timeline. Goes back to the current thing, wraps everything up, and then just ends.
Okay.
It's not an ending like Samurai Champloo. Because, nothing happens.
Right, they're like, yeah, that was cool. Let's see it, maybe.
And it's like, but what about the thing?
Uh-huh.
And the other thing?
Right.
And all the other things?
Yep.
And it's just like,
mm-hmm.
No, that's okay. We'll see y'all later.
Okay.
That was my depiction of Samurai Champloo.
Right.
I did not.
Uh-huh.
Apparently, when you run off a cliff, it automatically says, "Oh, special jump."
Yep.
Or when you just go off a slight rock.
Yeah, that too. If you are in the air, it will automatically, next time you jump, do the special jump.
Is that actually what's happening? No. Is it what we're gonna do?
Yes. Nice.
Yeah.
If you like that, I'm sure I've mentioned this before, but there's another anime.
There's a poor man's.
Wow.
That's Flash.
Yep. There's another anime called Chromeshell Regios.
That sounds kind of familiar.
I'm sure I've mentioned it before.
Oh, I'm sure.
But if you like the idea of an anime, like, sort of taking what your expectation is and then, like, tying in different things, it's probably one of my favorite animes for doing that. Because it starts off with, like, the very first scene you get is there's these guys, right? And they're watching this one what seems like a new recruit or possibly an old master. You're not sure which. It's this guy, though, and he's fighting, like, with a sword, he's fighting a giant monster. And they're all like, alright, yeah, he's doing pretty good. I can see this going places. And then the next thing that happens is, it's, here's this new guy in town. It's a post-apocalyptic world. The towns are like these moving sandcrawler vehicle things. And he, like, it's now this guy who's going to, like, a school there, and, like, the school happens to be, like, training you to, like, fight and be a protector and fight monsters that try to attack the city.
Yeah.
But then, as that's going on, you're like, okay, there's also kind of a magic thing going on. But then the magic is, like, it's like these spirit things that, like, run the giant city machines.
What?
And then mixed in with that.
Okay.
So it's like, you're starting off like, alright, so this is going to be like a school, training kind of show, right?
Yeah, like, I enjoy those a lot.
And then it's like, oh, no, they're fighting monsters. Like, they're just straight up going out and fighting monsters now. And there's, like, weird spirit magic kind of thing going on.
Okay.
But at the same time, it's every once in a while, this is a show where, like, there's multiple cast of characters.
Okay.
So you have this primary cast, right? It's about this guy at this school and they're fighting monsters, right?
Yeah. Sort of like, not like Toriko, but,
sure,
guy going around fighting monsters.
Right, like that. But then there's occasionally, it just interspersed into the episodes, like, it'll just cut to all of a sudden, like, this very weird, totally different animation style, like, different, like, characters that you're like, what even is this? And then it'll cut back and it'll be like somebody turned off a TV, and you're like, was that
real?
What was that? And then there'll be other times when it just cuts to that and then cuts back, and you're like, alright. And then it'll cut to a different cast of characters on another moving city machine, and they're talking about, like, hey, remember this one guy? And it's almost like, as you start to piece it together, they sort of don't directly tell you, but you're like, I think this new guy that showed up was the guy from that first scene where they fought a monster?
Yeah.
And then this other cast of characters, like the second cast that's on the other city, they're pretty much all talking about, and like, we need to find and get this guy. Like, we need to bring him to our side. So that they're all planning this machinations, and then you see he's just, living his life at this city, and it's got sort of like a school kind of thing going on. So, like, they're doing the normal school anime things where, like, they have to go to classes, they gotta do this, and then occasionally they fight monsters.
Like you do.
Right. And then there's that third cast of characters that's just a different animation style. It's very weird. You're not sure what it is. And then you find out, wait, was that the past? Because when it just starts happening, you're like, wait a minute. They're referring to things, and they've been referring to things that now the other characters are discovering was a thing. Or is the reason for things being.
Yeah.
Because this... If you want an anime... To just put it in simple terms, if you want an anime that, for me, the large majority of my enjoyment of it was just trying to piece together, like, the overarching, like, universe and the timeline, then you'll probably enjoy this.
Okay.
I can't say that the writing was excellent or that the animation was, like, super amazing, but if you want an anime where the fun is, piecing together, then I recommend Chrome Shell Regios.
Chrome Shell Regios.
Yeah, which was on Netflix for a while. I don't know if it still is.
Okay. I'll have to check to see if it's on Netflix still. Man, that sounds so weird. How long is it?
Oh, it's like 26 episodes?
Oh, so perfect.
Right. I'm pretty sure it was 26 episodes. It's like roughly in that range.
Okay. See, for me, my favorite animes are the ones that are only about 26 episodes.
Sure.
Any longer than that, and I feel things are kind of going on a little longer than they probably should.
Uh-huh.
Not that there aren't, fun, really long animes.
Right.
It's just, I ain't got time for that.
No, I understand that.
Like, Bleach alone, I'm still so far behind in that.
Oh, absolutely you are.
And we're getting closer and closer. Like, alright, when you said you were going to spoil everything on the last day of December,
Right.
I thought, oh, that'd be fine. That's so far away.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, it's getting so close now. I mean, we're almost in June.
Uh-huh.
Should be like half the year.
Yep.
We got E3 going on. It's just
Uh-huh.
like, oh, man.
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
Soon.
I'm hoping to get through it by the end of summer.
Okay.
But then you got me addicted to Adventure Time.
Right.
And that is the ultimate of off-topic shows I've ever seen in my life.
Absolutely. It is definitely that.
It's just so ridiculous.
It's a good time, though.
Oh, no. It's a great time.
Have you gotten to the elephants yet?
No, I haven't gotten to the elephants yet.
I really want to hear when you get there.
I'm excited. The last thing I got to was Flame Princess and Finn were going through their first dungeon together.
Okay.
And Finn was doing everything his way.
Uh-huh.
And I just Flame Princess's face of, oh god, this is the most boring thing of all. And Finn just go on there, it's like, it's a dungeon crawl. It's the best crawl. It's a dungeon crawl. And it's just like, because I hate dungeon crawls.
Right.
And it's like, hey, we got a key. We found a chest all the way back there.
Uh-huh.
Oh, let's walk all the way back there. Try that. Oh, it's the wrong key. Well, we gotta go on back.
Yep.
And it's just like, I sympathize, Flame Princess.
Mm-hmm.
I sympathize.
Yeah.
Because for D&D, we tried a dungeon crawl once.
Yep.
Once. Never again. It was just so long and so tedious.
It definitely was that.
Ooh,
the cloak of Atropos. Yes.
Oh, we should at least check out what it looks like.
Right. What's it look like?
We won't wear it, but we're gonna check it. Oh, it's a little...
It's not horrible, I guess. It's just...
It kind of looks like it's on a slant.
Yeah, it does look like that.
I wanna see if it's actually on a slant.
Sure.
No, it is.
Yep.
It is on a slant.
All right. I mean, that's an interesting decision.
Oh no, that's really cool. And why would they do that?
Uh-huh.
But yeah. All right. Well, let's go turn in these bounties and we'll call it a night.
Yeah, get that experience.
Heck yeah.
Ooh, two of them.
Oh, we were so close to leveling up Crucible.
Uh-huh. Very close.
Oh, we're so close to leveling up. It's ridiculous.
Yep. We are very, very close. But hey, that'll happen next time. So that's going to be exciting.
Yeah, well. And then we'll get this all finished up. And then we'll suddenly jump to 26.
Right.
Alright, so we hope you enjoyed this.
Uh-huh.
And we'll see you all next week.
Bye.